All right. So guys, we're going to do this a little bit differently than our regular Creative Collaboration Summit. The nice thing about having a small group of people is we have that flexibility to really be able to flow with things. Okay. Can you see me? Because
Yes.
on my screen, it's still Paige. So, okay, got it. All right. So anyways, yeah, so we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at first all about our teams and our team members, because what I noticed when I started doing some research was the places people get stuck the most are repeat patterns. And often they don't find the specific team members, or when they do, the relationships don't necessarily last. And so I want to look at that with you guys. And also there was somebody here, or somebody who was going to be coming today, they're not able to make it. She was talking about how when she has teams, her lower self comes up and tells her that, you know, little things like, well, I don't even know what to give them. I don't know what to assign them. She suddenly gets confused. She has her vision. And so she has a hard time bridging the gap between having these people and getting what she needs. So my question for you guys, and please put it in the chat or just raise your hand, what comes up for you with regards to having your teams do things, finding the right people and keeping the right people, and having everybody on the same page? What comes up for you guys?
We have a saying, teamwork makes the dream work. Going back to Maury, that you need team members. There's another saying that I've adopted a long time ago: you have to do it by yourself. You can't do it alone. You, assuming the people on this call have the vision, the insight, the future, and you need powerful teammates to play in the same vibration, going back again to Maury's distinction. Yeah, you can find yourself by yourself, and that sucks. So
awesome. Thank you, Richard. What would you recommend for people? Like, there are other people who have a vision and they have a hard time maintaining the vision when things aren't going their way. Do you have ideas for that?
yeah, let me make sure I understand the question. Looking for team players or looking for other people doing other things with the same vision?
It could be both. It could be both. Sometimes it would come up where they have a vision, they're very, very crystal clear, and then something will happen in their life and they have a hard time maintaining that vision long term.
Many years ago, when I was living in San Diego, at the time, my closest friend had a methadone clinic. And just as a sidebar, he was very clear: methadone doesn't keep people from drugs, it just keeps you out of your living room, because methadone lasts 4 hours, heroin, methadone lasts 24, heroin 4. So, but it was business. And there was a guy in the next county, which was right next door, who also had a methadone business. And they kept slashing prices. Some of you can relate to that. To, you know, hey, come to me. Bob called him up and said, hey, why don't we collaborate? Why don't we work together? Well, they formed a partnership. Same vision, serve what needed to be served. And they sold their business, I think it was for about $16 million between the two of them. That's teamwork. Bringing people together, bridge the gap that separates you so that you have the same vision. And by the way, teammate doesn't mean they're going to have the same vision as you. And that's what the conversations are about. Find out where the similarities are, bridge the gap between the differences, sell a business for $16 million.
I like that idea. I like that idea. And then thank you, Richard. So the next question is, what do you guys do if you have a team and you've been working with them and then you find out that you've had them in the wrong spots? Maybe you've been working with people, but you just keep getting frustrated, or they get frustrated. And I'm asking for ideas and things first. Like, I prepared for today to present something, but I'm also asking for the wisdom and insight from each of you.
I would hire out the things in my business that I'm not so skilled in, like accounting and bookkeeping and even enrollment. And then I would think if team members aren't working out in one particular place, there could be a conversation about which area they would be more skilled in.
That's perfect. Perfect. Thanks, Paige. Anyone else have some advice or thoughts on that one?
Yes. So I've hired quite a few, not tons of people, but usually they're women, moms, because my business is for moms, this one. So I try to really, when I'm interviewing them, I try to find out their interests and what they actually enjoy doing, not just what they're skilled at, but what are they obviously good at. So one girl that I hired, she wanted to do social media and she wanted to help with the website, but she was amazing at selling. I'm like, you should be selling for me. So I had her doing a little bit of that. And then all of a sudden she was calling herself a brand executive for Busy Mom Media. I was like, no, let's not go that far. You're not a branding executive yet. She has like dreams of being a branding strategist and using the social media to do that, which she didn't tell me anything about when I first was considering hiring her. So I was trying to pull out, what are her passions? What would she be happy doing? Because I don't want anybody working for me that's not happy with what they're doing, right? They have to enjoy it. So yeah, you really have to pull it out of them sometimes and figure it out for them, maybe. If you see they're not good at something. If you like the person, if you get along and they're doing something else well, but that's not their title, that's fine. Go with the flow. And my saying, Richard, is, well, we can't do alone, we can do together. That's always been my quote for the last 30 years. Awesome. So yeah, that's my advice.
Thank you, Ava.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're muted.
I know. So for me, it's all about metrics. It's all about measuring. I believe Richard knows this guy, David Fagan. You've heard of him if you don't know him. I think Richard actually knows him. Yeah. So when all this thing happened with the pandemic and networking went online, I paid, I think it was like $500 to be part of a networking event he held. I wasn't a speaker. It was just to show up. And he's, I kind of felt, until I realized the one lesson I learned that made a lot of sense, that I didn't really get my money's worth, because it seemed more like it was just a bunch of infomercials. Here's my good friend, blah, blah, blah. And he tries to sell you on a $5,000 product and someone else tries to sell you on a $10,000 product. And and then you go for a 5-minute breakout room once every 6 hours, and that's their version of networking. However, he said something that, and it goes to your question, that made a lot of sense to me. He said, is your business not really doing what it should be doing because it's bad? It's just not the right business. It's not good. Or is it because you have the wrong team members? And that's when I started actually researching as far as results. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. So I think it's important to measure what you're doing. And it's not that someone's a bad person or not good at what they're doing, but maybe they're just not the right match for you and or your product / service. And that's what prompted me to start actually looking for business partners instead. So I have a meeting, I meet someone, they're impressed with them, with me, I'm impressed with them. I give them some of my work to use. And if they see the potential and the possibility, we work together. Again, no money changes hands until money is earned, and then it's a split down the middle. But that one line that David said made it worth 50 times what I paid. But the rest of the thing was like, I was feeling like I got ripped off until he said that one line. And then
that was your money's worth moment.
That was my money's worth moment.
Yeah. I'm glad you got that, because that's life changing.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I used to not want to be I used to think for my business that I needed a CEO, that I could not be that person. And I don't want to forget acknowledging you, Maury, for that contribution, okay? Because you're right about it being in it's the team members and being in the right spots. So I used to think I was the wrong person for the head of my company. And that was hard for me, because it's like I saw the vision, but I had a hard time maintaining things. Recently, I discovered this thing called the 6 types of working genius, and some of you guys might know about that. Okay, I see Ava. That combined with the entrepreneurial operating system by Gene Wickman is gold. And then also the 6 steps to 6 figures by my mentor, Dan Locke. Okay, we're not going to get into that, but I'll tell you what it is. So the 6 steps to 6 figures helps you get crystal clear on every single piece of how you want your life to be. What time you want to wake up and go to bed, what you want out of your office window, you know, what you want to be spending your time doing, what you want other people to be doing, like all of these pieces to have you have your ideal vision for your life. And then build your business around that. Because way too many people, myself included, would build a business around a need, not take in mind our own personal needs and what we need, and then get frustrated later on because things aren't exactly what we want. So the next step was getting the core values. I know a couple summits ago we went through and I helped some of you guys get clear on your core values or how that process works so that you can make sure that your people are all aligned with the same values, right? And today we're going to be looking at the 6 types of working genius, and I'm going to show you what my team and I are doing because this is transforming everything for us. So I'm going to show you an on-the-court example. Are you guys down with that? Yeah, and then we're going to get into these fabulous things where we break out and we share with each other where we're at and look for ways to collaborate. Okay. And contribute to each other. All right, so this is just a page on Google, but if you were to type the 6 types of working genius into Google and get the pictures, here's what they are. See if you can find, when I go through them, listen for where you have your 2 happiest areas, the ones that are easiest for you, and then the 2 areas that over time would cause you frustration. Because chances are you're able to work in all of the areas and probably even good at it, but you might not love it over the long term, okay? So the genius of wonder, the natural gift of pondering the possibility of greater potential and opportunity in a given situation. So what that looks like is you would spend your time daydreaming. You would ask a lot of what if questions, or what if this, or what if that. You'd always be curious about something. The next one is the genius of invention. This is where I'm always in. It's like the natural gift of creating original and novel ideas and solutions. And the genius of discernment would be the natural gift of intuitively and instinctively knowing whether it's a good idea. You can basically, even if you don't have all the information for something, whatever you are presented with, you would be able to tell instinctively and intuitively whether something's a good idea or not, whether to do something or not, okay? The genius of galvanizing. This is the natural gift of rallying, inspiring, and organizing others to take action. So it would be like the natural delegators. The genius of enablement. The natural gift of providing encouragement and assistance for an idea or project. So if you find yourself jumping in and always wanting to help people and feeling good when you help people, and you could do that over a long term, that would be your genius. The last one is the genius of tenacity. And that's the natural gift of pushing projects and tasks through to completion to achieve results. So you might not be the one to finish things. You might not be the one to have the ideas, but you'll sure as hell make sure things are done. Does that sound like any of you guys?